Hey, good afternoon, folks, and welcome to the stream. Hopefully, you're doing well and you've had a good week. And glad to be back at it again. So today I'm just gonna continue working on the open source work that I was doing for Redwood JS. More specifically, finishing implementing the docs, doing some security research for why GraphQL Armor has chosen to use the plugins it has, and to hopefully educate users of Redwood on why these security precautions are taken. So instead of just taking something as is, also understanding why it's needed is the cool thing. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and do a couple things. Let's click on that. Reduce the volume on this guy. And share my screen. So we do that, and we'll just go with this layout here because I like this layout a little better. Let's make this a little bit bigger so we have a little bit more screen real estate, and so people can read it more easily. So the one I was working, so where we left off last time is had completed the documentation explaining max aliases, which was a big one, an interesting one. and I started looking into the max directives. We can probably, let's see. Let's actually go with an example for the max directives. So let's go with an example. So query so the max directives, so a directive is a utility. You can add directives so that certain things can be done to certain fields, but a common directive that exists is the skip directive that is like a built-in typically in most GraphQL implementations, and it's part of the official documentation. And skip more specifically allows you to skip certain fields if a condition is if the condition is true. So I'm trying to think off the top of my head what would be an example of something to include. So let's say student and that's a Boolean. So we need student, and we check if we need his classes. So name. Grade. Maybe not need classes. Would be a better one. So if we're a student and we wanted to conditionally only check for certain things, would be need classes. How about just need grades? Or need, no, not grade. Well, let's say major. Need major. Something super, super trivial. And then we would do a skip on here if need $sign need major. I believe that's the syntax we would follow for this. Let's double check. Yeah, so with deprecation, that's a deprecation warning, but the skip directive is a query side directive. Includes another one. So skip true. Yeah, okay. That's what I need to fix here. I guess we can include, yeah, whatever. So a max directive. So a directive is a function that decorates a portion of GraphQL schema to extend its functionality. As an example, let's get Boolean will ignore the field in a result query if the Boolean value is true. And then we can say, for example, and this is JSX. Have we been labeling these JSX? Yeah. Because JSX formats it the most niceably. Okay. So an attacker. So now let's get into what is wrong with this. And I want to make sure I put an attacker. But this feature. Abused by an attacker. But this feature can be abused by an attacker. But this feature can be abused by an attacker. By an attacker. I'm trying to get this phrasing right. So this can be abused by an attacker. This feature can be abused by an attacker to, and then I found the explicit cause for this. But let's say, but if an attacker, but let's see. But if an attacker requests so if an attacker specifies many directives, but if an attacker specifies many directives in a single query, that but if an attacker specifies many directives in a single query, then they have can possibly but if an attacker specifies many directives in a single query, then they can overload the query parser, resulting in a denial of service attack. So if an attacker specifies, but if an attacker specifies many directives, too many directives in a single query, then they can overload the query parser, resulting in a DOS attack. And then we can go, and then we can do the whole mitigate thing. So to mitigate this sort of attack, road address by default sets the max directive. And let's look up the GraphQL armor. We're using a different site for this. Using this one. To mitigate this sort of attack, Rogers by default sets the max directive sets a max directive of let's see, of 50. Okay, cool. So it's a max directed count. Let's be a little bit more articulate here now that I'm rereading these things. So to mitigate the sort tag, Richard sets a max alias. Well, this is plural. And then we'll copy this part because this part is pretty much cookie cutter. And then we can set this You can configure the max number of directives using the max directive property and setting n for additional configuration options. Please see the GraphQL Armor max aliases max directive configuration. And that's where we link here. Directly to the configuration options. There we go. And then this becomes max directives. Alrighty, so let's read that through and see how that looks. A directive is a function that decorates a portion of GraphQL schema to extend its functionality. As an example, at skip will ignore the field in a result query if the Boolean value is true, for example. But if an actor specifies too many directives in a single query, then they can overload the query parser, resulting in a DOS attack. To mitigate this sort of attack, just default sets of you can change the default settings of the value of the GraphQL Armor. There's settings. Under configuration, you can configure the maximum number of directives using the max directive property, setting n for additional configuration options. Please see GraphQL Armor, max directive configuration options. Cool. And and then the whole configuration. Okay. Alrighty, let's get to max tokens. Is used to it. So this is the generic things. Tokens limit is often limited to the GraphQL parser, but this is not always the case, I believe. So let's figure out what tokens are. Is often limited to, so that's where I copied everything from. So what is a token? Let's see, this documentation was where I found the directives. Okay, so they don't cover that, so we'll probably have to fish for it. Let's see. See if tokens come up. Token. Doesn't come up here in this documentation, so let's just generically look this up. Let's change up the music a little bit. And my internet is going slow today. Let's close Docker just to save a little bit of spinny resources. Oh, there we go. All right, let's see. So where can we find? Is tokens just straight up just like authentication tokens, or what are we talking about here? Because tokens definitely are you know, authentication thing. It's the only place that only these places token shows up on. Yeah, I would like to know what exactly is maybe GraphQL query token. Let's try to get a little bit more precise. Let's go to GraphQL.org. Maybe it's going to be, they're going to mention this in here, maybe. Nothing in here. This is for authorization. Interesting how it does fuzzy finding here. That's cool. Authorization. I don't see anything like I don't see anything helpful other than like authors authentication tokens. But it's like that information's not helpful for us outside of this. And I don't see an example of. I guess what we can do is we can try to just jump over to the source code. I mean, it's worth a try to explore the source code to see about try to get a little inkling of what it's doing. So let's see max tokens. Let's just take a look. The plugin relies on parser plugin to work and access query. This should be supported by the engine you use. So let's see. Let's see if we can understand this. Get token count. So get token. Let's see how it's being used now. So object assign. Actually, let's take a look at the test. What better way to understand than to look at a test and potentially see what it's trying to do. So operator array max token options. Rejects the operation with more than the default max token count. So the max token count right now is max token options and join A. Create test kit, max token plugin, schema. So this is trying to construct something. Max token default options. Take a look at this file. But what? Okay. So this is importing from the source max token default options, and then let's go to the index file. And where's max token default options defined? Interesting. There it is up here. Okay. So the number n, it loops, so it takes n. So it creates an array n times, and then it joins them all together, making a bunch of A's. A. Like A space, A space, A space, A space, A space. So then this create test kit. So max tokens plugin with the schema. Our schema is this query A, okay? And then, so that's our schema. And then we try to do an operation here where we were specifying just A. Alrighty, does not reject an operation below the max take count. So it's just a query. Does not reject operation below the max count. So is a token just a field? I guess so. That seems to be the case here. That seems to be the case. Because I guess you can get past that because of the cost limit stuff. Let me see if I can find a little bit more details regarding this then. So like this is technically a token. Because based off the code implementation here, this is constructing an operation, a query that's asking for A. And this does it exactly the max amount of times. And we do 2 less. And then now it's doing it again for the overrides. Let's see if we can try to articulate this then. You see, I want to triple check this. GQL field. because that's such a that's such a weird naming convention. Just because everywhere else in terms of documentation, always just called a field a field, or a field calls what we're the individual type we're asking for a field instead of a token. So use it to so an attacker so a GraphQL is often limited by the GraphQL parser. So let's see. So a GraphQL server is limited on the amount of fields that can be fetched. So by the amount of fields that can be fetched. An attacker can use this notation to request enough An attacker can use this limitation to request enough fields such it causes a heap overflow. Let's see, how did they phrase this over here? So an attacker can use this limitation to request enough fields such that it causes a DDoS attack, heap overflow, or server overloading. And then we can go ahead and take this stuff, this cookie cutter stuff right here. To mitigate this sort of attack, right, would just by default sets max tokens, sets the max tokens to 1,000. To 1,000 tokens. You can change the default by going blah 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 blah. And setting a max tokens, and then we go to this. Okay. Cool. All right, so we got max tokens in there. We don't actually have to show anything because I feel like that description's fine. Character limit's the interesting one. I think character limit is best articulated here by limiting the request size. Limit the number of characters in GraphQL request. So limit the number of characters in a GraphQL document to reduce to protect against, to help protect against complex queries. This helps prevent possible. Well, let's see. Are we consistent with how we specify DOS, by the way? Because I know down here I had capital DOS. Yeah, let's see. DOS. So all caps, not all caps. All caps, not all caps. All right. We'll just stick with all caps. Yeah. Okay. Limit the number of requests in GraphQL document to prevent requests. This helps prevent possible DOS back better than the size of the document. Limit the number of characters to help prevent against consequences. Could possibly result. So limit the number of characters in a GraphQL document to help prevent against complex queries that could possibly an attacker can possibly use to limit the number of requests to protect against complex queries that an attacker can possibly use to cause a DOS attack. I think it's as simple as that. There's not much need for like an example. In my opinion. Oh, I forgot to add the example thingy here. There we go. Next tokens. So let's grab all of this. One sec. What do we do? So it sets. And what's the character limit on here? The default character limit is 15,000. Okay. Character limit over here. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Let's see here, character limit. It is disabled by default. Oh, then I don't have to. Okay, so it's disabled by default. Okay, well, that effort is not needed then. Cool. I think that covers everything. Field suggestion, cost limit, max aliases, max directives, and max tokens. Cool. I think we could put a pin in this one then. Let me go ahead and commit this so that I could then review these changes separately. So update docs to explain different GQL armor plugins. Okay, let's go take a look at the Redwood.js repo then. Let's see, I haven't used this plugin much, so, oh, there it is. Clipboard. All right, so this are the changes that we do have. Via the graphical settings when creating. So to mitigate this risk of attacking application via deeply nested queries, sets to 8. You can change the default. There's a typo right there. I can already see it. And this is why we choose a different medium to where was it again? You can change view depth limit options. Or are these gone? You could change it to that. I guess this is gone. And these are added. It doesn't look, let me see. Yeah, that's gone. For additional configuration options. To mitigate this, so then to mitigate this risk, the risk of this attack, RoboJS by default has enabled. This will prevent returning field suggestions and leaking your schema to unauthorized actors or attackers. You can choose the default settings via the handler or do the field suggestions. Cost limit. To ensure the stability of your GraphQL server, it's prudent to limit the amount of complex data an actor can request from your API. An attacker can attempt to degrade performance or crash your GraphQL server by requesting many fields that require more resources to retrieve. To reduce the likelihood of this attack, RoboJS by default has cost limit configured for all requests with modest values set. You can change the default setting via the GraphQL config. For additional configuration options. So max aliases. So GraphQL offers the ability to alias field names in a situation when an actor would like to query for the same field multiple times in the same request. For example, but this field can be abused by an attacker to perform a batch attack, allowing them to perform as many queries as they would like in a single request, bypassing any rate limit rules. An attacker can then perform denial of service. I think I should change this to DOS attack. First login attempts, like in the example below. Please read address from. This needs to be adjusted. There you go. To mitigate this sort of attack, RoboJS by default sets the max alias to 15. You can change the default settings. Max directives. A directive is a function that decorates a portion of GraphQL schema to extend its functionality. As an example, add skiff boolean will ignore the field in a result query if the boolean value is true. For example, that. But if an attacker specifies too many directives in a single query, then they can overload your query parser, resulting in a DOS attack. To mitigate this sort of attack, limit the number of tokens, aka fields in a GraphQL document. GraphQL server parser is limited on the amount of fields that can be fetched. I think I can get rid of this part, sentence right here. And to say a GraphQL server is limited on the amount of fields that can be fetched. Can be fetched, so I think that's single. and a GraphQL document. An attacker can use this limitation to request, and then an attacker can use this limitation to request enough fields such that it causes a DOS attack. Keep up for so maybe start that. I think that's fine. Okay. I think that is fine. So fix that. Reworded this. Okay. Let's push those changes. And then I will need to submit this. I need to look up our internal company process on what we're gonna do. For this. Let me hide my screen for now while I go through some stuff. I guess I can look at a previous pull request to see how we're doing stuff. I guess what I can do is I can look into how Redwood.js proper wants me to submit my changes. So let's bring this back. We'll go ahead and close this. And they should, and then in the docs, they do have a section on open source contribution stuff. So I forked the Redwood framework, open framework code base, command start fresh, yarn install. What did I call this branch here? I call it GraphQL Armor. So testing the project. There are several options for creating local Redwood. So I guess now that we're done, I should probably look into actually testing this project all the way through. You may have to start over from the beginning. Let's try running that command. Interesting. There's no command like that. Guess not. This RD, like RW, is this like a yarn specific thing? I guess that's a setting. Is that a setting somewhere up here for setting the redwood path? That's the first time it's referenced. Framework root. So from the frameworks root directory, you can do yarn test path to directory. This command installs a new project using the template code base from your current framework branch. It then adds tutorial features and finally initializes the DB with seed data. It should work 90% of the time, and I recommend starting place. So I think I tried this before and I came across some issues, but it doesn't hurt to try it again. So test project. Here's the whole RW. We'll use the Redwood framework command to connect our local framework. This is where this doesn't exist though. Once you work on it, once you work on framework code, you'll most often run let's try this again. I should name it. That's what I think I need to do here. Because build test project is a code mon. Never mind. So what is going on here? Is this a dependency with the environment? And that's because chalk doesn't exist. This part's the confusing part. So once you have, however, the Redwood project you created or tested is currently using the latest version Canary. We'll use the Redwood framework command to connect our local framework project, which allows the project to run on the code packages we're currently developing. Do a git clean. Let's try clean up a bunch of stuff. So because we forked it, this just seems out of date. So let's see. So let's take a look at this now. So you'll almost always want to test the functionality of your changes and run a framework project when it comes to getting your robot project to test the changes out. We want several options: run, create, run project. Create a functional test project to go to the location of your local file. Using the functional test project is might be the fastest way. And then I got this. Because chalk isn't installed. Let's see. So chalk is a dependency on some other stuff. When I try to run that command, it doesn't work. Okay, looks like the other build worked. Let's see if building a test project will work. Nope. Okay. Alright, so I can't generate a test app that way. And I'm using this in code spaces, so the referencing is not going to work for anything that's installed locally. Let's try this. Let's try it this way. Are we gonna get the exact same issue? TypeScript, sure. Ooh. Got an error. Interesting. Is that just airing out because of where we're located at? Let's try doing this command again. We will go up one directory. Yeah, that still checks out. Looks like it's working this time potentially because it hasn't aired out immediately. Cool, but it seems like it's doing stuff. It's doing stuff. Once you work on the framework code, you'll often want to run the code in a Redwood app for testing. However, the Redwood project is currently using the latest version of Canary packages of Redwood Polish. So we'll need to use the Redwood framework command to connect our local framework to the test project, which allows the project to run on the code for packages we're currently developing. So this is where we will need to make the change. Okay. Alrighty. So now we're in our project proper, and we will change this framework directory to be up one, and then we were just in redwood. All right, it's doing its thing. Good. I don't think our Cypress end-to-end tests are gonna work, because I don't believe we have the dependencies necessary to run Cypress. We'll let that do its thing. Let's take a look at this. I don't know what this is waiting for, but it's waiting. I'm not sure if running this affected this. Hope not. It'd be cool if the NTN tests actually do work, because then that means I technically don't have to do anything else. That means I don't have to actually test the project, because that means, you know, everything's still working fine. Let's see, so this generating Prisma, it did this Webpack thing. I don't know what else it's waiting on. It's just sitting here. Oh, I guess it's okay. So this is waiting for changes. Interesting. So this is just a watcher. Okay, that's what that's doing. It is just a compile time watcher. Oh, I need to run yarn install. Is that what I need to do, or did I do that step incorrectly? Let's see. So package JSON. Maybe it would be in the package lock or yarn lock. I'll say GraphQL armor in here. Cleans the build framework, copies the framework dependencies to your project, runs yarn installing your project, copies over the framework, waits for changes. Step 2 is only explicit changes. Say all done, you're ready to kill it. So I guess I accidentally reset the project because since I did a force, or since I did a yarn install, and I could have forced it. So let's go ahead and let it do this thing again, and then I'm going to do yarn right, and then I'm going to do in a separate process. Separate terminal, do yarn redwood dev. Okay. All right, let's see. Let's see if we can just launch the browser instance in here. Oh, it's not letting me. So the API is listening at 89. Oh, it's listening now. Let's close that. We don't care about the dev. Actually care about the dev tools for now. So local host. Yeah, buddy. Let's get this song and dance. Back one, CD into goose test. Let's generate a page on the CLI. Let's go to my page. Cool. Let's see if we can do a little bit more. So we already know all the layout and linking stuff already works. The thing we need to do is start getting a little dynamic. Is what we need to do. So let's try running. Let's see if we can migrate the database. I believe it's just using SQLite, so it's not a bit, it's no bigs. It's no bigs. So what we need to do is let's follow this guide here, and we're gonna try creating a post. And we need to update the API DB schema Prisma. We're just gonna do a little bit of vim foo here to do this. Update that. And then we run another migrate dev. And what we're going to do is we're going to add in post. Add post. And finally, what we're going to do is we're going to scaffold this change so that we can generate the page that will connect to this database table and scaffold out the CRUD for it. So let's see. So we don't have any posts yet. Let's create one. New post. Amazing. Nice. So everything appears to be working fine. And here we go. We can see that we're using GraphQL Armor now. Because we have that as an installed dependency now for our GraphQL plugin. So we're pointing to the workspace for that GraphQL plugin, and we have the thing. So everything still works just fine. Good stuff. Very cool. Yeah, so I think this is good for today. I will need to submit this pull request go through the process of submitting this pull request, but we have a contribution to be made very, very soon. I just want to look at some of these. I need to rename the pull request. It seems like to put my full name in, to put my name in there, which is fine. Before we sign out, let's go ahead and do that now. So git checkout -b. Oh yeah, forgot. We're on the code space, so the aliases doesn't exist. And also some of my other aliases don't exist. Let's see, pull request. Can I copy the URL for the pull request? I'll put pull request on GitHub. That's just gonna open up in another browser. Okay. Well, I am done for today. We did all the good stuff that I wanted to do. Hopefully, anyone that was watching, listening, learned a couple things in the process. So thanks so much for hanging out, listening, as I worked on finalizing this addition to Redwood.js. So hopefully you are going to have a good weekend. And I will catch you next time. So until next Friday, stay happy, stay healthy. And yeah, go have some fun. See you later, everyone. Bye.